The Katherine River is famous for its beauty and abundant vegetation. A quick glance wouldn't show it, but the river corridor is being taken over by foreign trees, which could destroy its ecosystem. But volunteers are fighting back, as Miles Morgan reports.
Katherine is an area renowned for its beauty. It's a delicate ecosystem on the doorstep of the Nitmaluk National Park and the famous Katherine Gorge.
The Katherine River region is a very unique area. The river itself is very special, one of the big rivers for which the region is famed. The river rises at Nitmaluk National Park, obviously flows through the gorge.
But it's an ecosystem that is under threat from dangerous invaders. Foreign trees, the invasive African mahogany and Indian neem are growing unchecked around the Katherine River.
They'll replace the native plants, and they don't provide native birds and animals with food sources that other plants provide them.
They are definitely on the increase and definitely invading and taking over.
These volunteers are fighting back with a major program to reclaim the banks of the Katherine River for native species. It's no easy battle. Volunteers are using a mixture of diesel and chemicals to kill these seedlings.
Just make sure that you get a good cover and go right round the base of the plant.
Certainly the Katherine Landcare Group have put forward an answer, and that is to get the community involved in getting these plants out of their backyards and on their river frontages by just physically cutting them out, basil barking and poisoning.
It can take days to clear one massive mahogany. Around its base are scores of smaller plants which grow prolifically. Once these trees mature, they dominate the landscape, taking most of the sunlight, depriving smaller native plants.
They produce lots and lots and lots of seeds which are easily spread by birds and animals. Because they produce so many seeds, you get lots that germinate, and those plants are very competitive, so they'll replace the native plants.
People have noticed just how prolific and how dense they've become. There have been some estimates from some consultants that there could easily be hundreds of thousands of these trees, growing through particularly the Katherine region and on the riverbanks.
The Northern Territory Government's Principal Weeds Officer, Steve Wingrave, says by targeting individual trees, he hopes they can stop the species spreading.
It is concerning, and we've got outposts of small infestations and some bigger infestations, but the dots between them haven't joined yet.
So how did trees from Africa and India end up around the Katherine River? Well, it wasn't an accident. They were taken up enthusiastically by growers over the last few decades. The mahogany makes for great furniture, and the neem, among other things, produces a natural insecticide. As with most invasive species, hindsight is a wonderful thing.
What have we got coming up here?
But the Katherine Community Program isn't just about clearing out the foreign plant invaders.
Yeah, that's in mid-November.
At this nursery, Greening Australia's Greg Leach is growing native species that will be planted along the Katherine River bank.
We're providing to the program native species that would have been naturally in the Katherine River corridor. People get rid of the weeds, they can come into our nurseries and get replacement plants to propagate and plant into the river corridor.
African mahoganies and neem trees currently aren't declared pests by the Northern Territory Government. Steve Wingrave says that could change.
I do know that neem trees are well and truly within our sites at the moment for an assessment, because we're getting a lot of background noise from the community with their concerns about the species, and we're also seeing some concerns of our own.
Steve Wingrave's not the only one concerned about the impact neem trees are having on the Katherine River ecosystem.
It's an important river in its own right, but it flows downstream to other high ecological value aquatic ecosystems like Anson Bay and its associated wetlands. So all of these things are recognised by Australian and international authorities as having biodiversity significance, I guess, from the gorge all the way along the river corridor to Anson Bay, where the Daly enters into the Gulf.
If either tree is declared, it'll probably be the responsibility of the Northern Territory Government to control, because the Katherine River is Crown land. But the trees are hanging over the heads of residents in Katherine City too. That will be the responsibility of councils or homeowners. Realistically, experts say neems and mahoganies can't be eradicated, and managing them will be the challenge.
contain them in the Katherine area if we can, but it's a matter of finding out what we can actually do. Once we get to species like neem trees, which are spread by birds, we can't control birds. It makes it very, very difficult for us.
They're often referred to as sleepers. They're sitting there waiting for their niche or their opportunity to open up, and I think we're seeing that now with neem, that the Katherine River corridor is a niche that neem absolutely loves, the sandy banks, and it's now escaped and it's out there.
Miles Morgan with that report.